Would you date the bus driver?
I would, if you own a bus company.
Oh. Dang.
Hey fam, it's Jazz.
And it's Jaden.
And we're coming to you live.
With the vibe.
Come join the tribe.
What tribe?
J
Tribe.
Hey. And today we are back with another spicy topic.
Yes, we got another one for y'all.
Today we are going to be digging into the interview with Eva. Some of us may know her from America's Next Top Model, The Real Housewives, a plethora of movies that she has been in. And she was recently on The Breakfast Club, and they were talking a little bit about her dating life. And so today, what we are going to be digging into is, why are successful women often single?
That's a good topic.
Yes.
And that's what we see all the time.
Yeah, it's been talked about a lot on social media. Why does it seem like it's hard or harder for successful women to find a compatible mate? So we are definitely going to be digging into that today.
Yes. So let's get to it.
Yes, let's get right in to the video.
So how was your dating life?
Non-existent.
None? Lord have mercy.
You would think it would be easy. The DMs, my friend L'Oreal taught me how to look in the DMs. Those are terrifying because it's like somebody's husband and their son are both in the DMs, and then their pastor,
Jesus.
and then their women, and then it's like, everybody just calm down.
So how can somebody meet you? Like,
That's my question. I don't even know.
do you go out?
No, why? No.
Okay.
Go to work.
So it has to be DMs if you don't go out.
I mean, you might do casual like drinks and stuff like that. Like,
Yes, but
food
do you
drinks.
really get to meet somebody and then,
where else? Because you don't want to meet them in the club.
well, I don't do those.
Yeah,
unless
like,
they
but
pay.
I mean, like, I've been like out food drinks or whatever, and like I've seen you there, and those are nice places where like if someone's there, they send you a
But
drink.
not in America. Like if we're like in Italy or something, because they don't know who you are. There's no pretense. It's just like,
You don't have to think
like
twice.
the pretty girl over there with the pink shirt on. You know what I mean? Versus like, oh, that's
Eva.
I've had someone say like, yo, I'm gonna date you because I'm gonna date up. I'm like, whoa,
Damn, that didn't work.
at all.
I guess that's a compliment, though.
I mean, it's a compliment, but it also
He was like, I'm not dating down. Sorry.
makes me feel like,
Dang.
what, you know what I mean? Nothing's genuine.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult. That's why when you ask, do you leave the door open? It's like,
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, she definitely digged into some of the things that she was going through or is currently going through when it comes to the dating world. We didn't mention it earlier, but she was married. She was previously married to a lawyer, and from my knowledge, she's a pretty successful lawyer. She previously had a kid already, and with her ex-husband, she had two kids in that marriage. And she filed for divorce, and we're not quite sure, at least I'm not quite sure, why they got a divorce or what the issue was. From outside looking in, I did watch a few of her Real Housewives of Atlanta episodes, so from the outside looking in, everything looked good. He seemed successful on his end. Obviously we know Eva is successful herself. I know he had adopted her first child, and he seemed to do really good with the children. So I'm not quite sure what happened with the situation. I just know that she did end up divorcing him. As we heard a little bit from Eva, clearly the dating market is not easy. As we all probably understand, it's not for the weak out here. So clearly, she's been trying to figure out the dating market. And, as we know, successful women have a lot of unique challenges when it comes to the dating market. So what are some environments or social settings where successful women can meet a compatible partner?
That's a good question. Apparently, she doesn't have the answer to that question either, because she's having a hard time finding people that are compatible. I mean, as she said, definitely not the club. I don't know. It's a good question.
Would you say like the DMs are a good spot or not really?
I mean, she kind of addressed that already. You know, it's crazy. Them DMs is wild. You know?
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and I'm nowhere near her popularity level, but I've got some creepy DMs. So
Same here.
So I can imagine she gets all kinds of craziness. You know,
real.
so I wouldn't suggest that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a specialized dating site.
Hey, that could be a matchmaker, right?
Like a matchmaker, yeah.
Hey, that could be an option.
Hey, you can meet people that way. There's people that,
oh yeah,
yeah, it works. There's people that meet online and, you know, they're married to this day. So
That's
she might have to do like something like, I don't know, Match.com or something like that. Something like real specific. That way she can put all the details and, you know, all the things that she wants, you know, out of a man. She can really limit her options down.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You think maybe she'll do like an Eva of Love, like Flavor of Love, but Eva of Love?
No, that's a great idea. No, that's because then you get a show out of that.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Hey, she might end up doing that. We'll see.
Good idea, babe. Because you might as well, you know, use that. Because like who also did that recently? Well,
Tamar, Braxton, and
the singer back in the day.
Yeah, it was the three of them. It was Tamar Braxton. It was what's her
Chad
name?
Ochocinco's ex.
Yeah, it was Evelyn. Yeah. Evelyn Lozado, and it was Lil Wayne's baby mama. Dang, I don't know why. Nivea. So they had a show, and as we could see, Tamar ended up with what's his name, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And we see that interesting situation going on with them. So hey, you never know, she might end up getting into that lane herself, and hey, she might find somebody. Doing the dating shows, it does happen sometimes.
Because you can accomplish two things at once. You know, you can keep making content, you know, because she's a popular celebrity, so she can continue to make content. And then also, too, you know, have that possibility of meeting somebody who can compliment her.
Yeah, 100%. So that, that's a possibility. Like you said, I do like the idea of matchmaking. That way she could really...
You think her pride will allow that, though?
Well, you know what? Nowadays, I think that the stigma has kind of started to fade away. I mean, there's been like shows called The Matchmaker and stuff like that.
Could you really imagine her like on Match.com or?
Not on Match.com, but having like a professional matchmaker. Little known to a lot of people. Successful people, that's what they do. A lot of times they don't have time to go out. They don't have time to be, trying to find a person, right? So they go and hire a professional who has a network of other successful individuals, and they actually meet each other up. They actually match each other, right? So it's actually more common than we think amongst successful people. Also,
too, I was thinking, what about like conferences or maybe award shows or something like that? Like events that are involve a lot of other successful people being there and and networking. So maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Some network conferences and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. Like you said, conferences, like like you said, certain different events like Davos and stuff like that, where a bunch of wealthy people come together and they talk about different topics and stuff like that. So I think in places where you're surrounded with like-minded, like-kinded individuals could be also a good option for her.
Could you see her at like a TED Talk?
A TED Talk? I mean, possibly. Possibly, right?
Maybe she'll be giving a TED Talk, right? She get one.
Facts. Okay. Well, she did also mention about finding a guy like in Italy or something like that, because she's like, the men out here in America, they know who I am. So she was saying like maybe in Italy, right? Well, do you think that successful women dating abroad is a better option to find a partner that aligns with their lifestyle?
I have no idea. I don't know how I can, even if I were to say, yeah, I don't know how I can justify that, other than based on what she said. Oh, well, they're not familiar with her.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I wonder, with some celebrities, don't they like being known? Don't they like when, would they kind of appreciate when other people, can recognize them or familiar with some of their work? I don't know. Like, maybe that's just her opinion. I don't know. If all celebrities can relate to her on that perspective.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, right? Because you spend so much time, being, in the public eye. That's just how your lifestyle is at this point, I mean, Eva did America's Next Top Model back in 2004, so she's been in the industry and known for 20 years, right? So it's like you've built up, who you are in the industry as a public figure, and just I don't know. I think that sometimes people want one thing, but in reality, is that really what they want? Do they really want somebody that doesn't know them at all and just treats them like a regular person? Is that really what you want? I'm curious about that, because if you've built up the success, you built up the accolades, and you're used to people for 20 years treating you a certain way, I don't know. But yeah, I would agree. I don't know if just going out to Italy and finding someone that, doesn't know who you are is going to be like your best option, just because they don't know who you are, because eventually they're going to find out who you are, right? So, I mean,
right, yeah, they're going to Google you. They can ChatGPT you right on the spot.
Exactly. And don't let like somebody who is,
like, oh, she's famous. Oh.
Yeah. Or you're like trying to go out on a date with this guy from Italy, and then like, a fan runs into you and is like, oh my gosh, and it's like, well, there's your cover.
Can I get your autograph? Can we take a selfie together?
Yeah. You're not just some like D-list like celebrity like no one knows, it's like people probably know like her when they see her,
Eventually, yeah, they're gonna find out, even if she was in Italy or whatever other country that's outside the United States.
So yeah, I don't necessarily think like just because you're in a different country and they don't know who you are, that means they're gonna be like a good person or a good guy, So
she just sounds like she's tired of just people maybe trying to use her, or they just see her as a meal ticket.
Yeah,
so it seems like there's some trust issues.
Yeah, which is understandable, it's understandable. But, going to a different country does not mean that, hey...
You still gotta have your guard up.
Exactly, that you're not gonna have any issues in the dating market. I'm sure, the guys in Italy, they got their slicksters out there too, I'm sure.
Like, when you meet somebody, do you ever just, like, do, like, a little search?
Well, Google search right quick.
Like, go on Instagram or, Facebook or...
I would say do it. I would say...
Some people check the criminal records and stuff, right? You can do that,
I mean, because there's some crazy... Listen, y'all.
I'm just saying,
we live in 2024. There's some crazy folks out there. I would say Google them for real.
Did you do one on me when we met?
I did a little one on you.
Oh, stop. You went down my...
I just Googled your name. Luckily, I didn't see anything.
Oh, man, okay.
I was like, okay, no criminal, no news articles.
I did a little bit on you, but it sounded like you did more on me than I did you.
Hey, listen, y'all, we learning stuff about each other even while we're talking here today, because neither one of us talked about that before.
No, I know, right? No, this question wasn't even planned. I didn't even know we were going to go there. But eventually they're going to do their research on Eva.
Exactly, if we're doing it on each other, it's like, I'm sure, eventually. So, yeah, well, let's dig back into the clip.
Who at my age, I turned 40 in October, is really going to get to know the real me, having been in TV and film for 20 years?
Would you date in the industry?
You can only date in the industry.
That is terrifying. I do not want to date in the industry.
Unless she said, like, she goes out of the country, right? And
it's because they're going to end up being interviewed by Charlamagne. And they're like, so, what's popping with you and E?
What's up with you and E?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nah.
So listen, would you date the bus driver?
I would, if you own a bus company.
Oh. Dang. Wow.
Man,
Well, what if he's a good man?
Oh yes, for
He's
me,
a good man.
I am not
hardworking.
about the money.
Okay.
I'm not about the coin. What I'm about is you seeing me. I don't feel like I have been seen in a long time.
Well, she definitely said a lot. Okay, so she started off by saying, well, Charlamagne asked her, hey, would you date a bus driver? And then she said, if he owned the company.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. And then she kind of backtracked a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
it's all right.
She's like, oh, no, I'm not about the money.
Right.
She's like, she wants a guy to see her, right? She wants a man to see her. I'm curious to see what that actually means by, I want a man to see me. But let's dig back in. Let's see.
Wow.
What do you mean being seen?
Like,
you've been married for a while. So
yes, but see the person, not the clothes or the job or the title. I had someone the other day tell me, my job is who I am. I'm like, whoa, bro, that's sad.
That's sad.
That's sad because your job can change any day, and then who are you? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have so many titles and multi-hyphenate. Thank God, so blessed, so much gratitude. But with that, it's still a little girl inside of here from South Central Los Angeles that want to crip walk to they not like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still that girl. And who wants to tap into, like, the person inside of me, not the facade around me. You know what I mean? The smoke and mirrors, the titles.
Yeah, okay. Well, so it sounds like from what she's saying that she doesn't want someone to be worried about her title or like who she is or who she's known to the public. She wants to be recognized for, the girl from LA, right? Who, wants to crip walk to they don't like us, like the real her, apparently, the real her. So do you think it's realistic for women to find a balance between love and their career? And I mean, can she achieve both, right? Find a guy that, sees her for her, doesn't think about, her 20-year career in the industry, but just sees her, like you would see a normal person. Do you think that's possible?
No, it's not. It's either love or your career. No, I'm just playing. Obviously, yeah. I honestly think it is realistic. It's possible.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know how high the chances are. I don't know the percentage, but it's possible. Yeah. I mean, she says she's turning 40, right? So she's single. She's successful. There's a lot of men that I guess they feel intimidated because of her wealth, and I guess they might feel like, okay, she's out of their league, so that can be difficult too.
Yeah.
For her to to meet somebody, because obviously men are going to shoot their shot. They're going to be hollering at her. They're going to be coming to her, but they might feel like, oh, she's too popular. She makes too much money, and she's not going to respect me because she makes more money. So there's that too with that dynamic.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't necessarily need me for anything, maybe, but I think it's realistic. To balance love and your career, absolutely. I mean, essentially that's what many married folks do. I mean, many married folks have a career, and they focus on their love. So yeah, I know the topic is can a successful woman who's single, can they find that balance? Absolutely, but she may have to do a little more work on her part to be seen, to be available, to men that are potential for her. And, because it sounds like she's so busy, and also too, her defense is also up too, that she's almost not giving herself, a full chance at meeting somebody who's willing to commit to her and really know her for, her personally, not like she said, not just her persona, even though that comes with it.
Yeah.
Your persona. I mean, because she's on the limelight, she's popular. It just comes with it. But she wants somebody who generally is interested in her.
Yeah.
You know, when the lights are off.
Yeah.
When she's not on screen.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, it's a challenge, but you know, I would just say she probably would have to just be a little bit more available.
Yeah.
And be in the right, you know, arenas to find men that are potential for her.
100%. You know, I like a lot of what you said, but you know what? I am actually going to push back a little bit. I actually think that it's impossible for someone who already knows who you are, like they know, you know, you were on America's Next Top Model. They know that you were on, you know, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and, you know, you're in a bunch of different movies. I think it's pretty impossible for someone to just see you as like the regular girl in the neighborhood, or like just someone with no status or anything, because at the end of the day, like, you are that person, right? Like that is a part of your life, you know, like as much as, you know, you may want to just be like looked at like, you know, just a regular person, at the end of the day, like, people aren't gonna really see you that way. They might say that, right? But like, they're gonna always see you as like the supermodel, as the actor, as the reality TV personality. Like, they're gonna see that. Now, does that mean that like they're not gonna, you know, treat you right or whatever the case may be? I mean, hopefully not, right? Like, hopefully, you know, you can find somebody that will treat you like any other person. But in the back of their mind, they're gonna know who you are. Like, they're gonna know that like you have a lot of wealth. They're gonna know that you have a lot of options. So it's, I mean, to act like they're just gonna not see that, or like they're just gonna have amnesia to that part of your life, I think is a little unrealistic. Well, let's go ahead on and dig back into the clips.
That's what Dr. Wayne W. Dyer used to say. He used to say, the stuff you own is not you.
No.
What you do, your job, you know, your occupation, that's not who you
It's
are.
not.
Yeah.
But in today's society, especially with these young men and women doing so well professionally, it becomes them.
Allegedly.
You know what I mean? 28 to 35-year-old black men, black women out here, we're millionaires. We're figuring out how to get to the bag, own our own companies, you know, leverage business deals with other companies, not like it used to be. And so with that, I think comes a lot of ego.
I think the sad thing is, I think if somebody is trying to date you, I think they probably will first show up with their check, right? They want to show that they can afford you, which is totally the opposite of what you're looking for.
I want. So they show me the money, so then you don't want that. So then it's like the male ego ends up getting frustrated because it's like, what can I do for you?
And
right?
I think
you got kids. You don't need a husband. You don't need to pay your mortgage. You have multiple cars. You have a job.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, she made a lot of points there, you know, saying, you know, hey, the male ego, like, they just, you know, she's successful, you know, she has money, she has cars, she already has children. I don't know if she wants any more. And she's already been married, you know, so she's saying, like, a lot of the dudes, like, they're like, well, what can I do for you? So, do you think that the male ego is the key reason why successful women struggle with dating?
It has something to do with it. Yeah. Like the point that I was making earlier, we want to feel needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't agree with, you know, flashing your money, using your money as your game. Like, to me, that's a no. I don't know. I guess that's just the Bay Area in me. Feel me? I don't know what it is, but men, you know, I guess they feel like they gotta just, you know, try to flash their money to pull a woman, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't agree to that. But yeah, the male ego has definitely something to do with it. But also too, I think the woman ego has something to do with it as well. Because, you know, it sounds like she wants to date somebody who can match her. Because like she said earlier, she don't want to date a bus driver unless they own the company. But then she backtracked and said, you know, it's not about the money. But obviously it is about the money. If you're just dating somebody who, if they're a bus driver, they have to own the company. Technically, they wouldn't be a bus driver. They'd be an owner of a bus driving company. So it is about the money. from my perspective, based on what I've heard, from her. But I think it's, the male ego, and also too, the female ego too, especially a successful woman that's, in her late 30s, in her 40s. There's an ego there, and successful men who got a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily. I don't know if they're necessarily going after 40-year-olds.
Well,
men are very visual, so I'm just saying they probably prefer to date somebody in their 20s or late 20s, opposed to somebody who's about to be 40 years old. So that's another thing too to consider. I mean, she's not. I'm not saying she's old, but
yeah.
But it's not uncommon to see older men dating younger women.
Oh yeah,
and these
it's
older
very common.
men, they got the paper.
Yeah, it's very common. Very common. Yeah, no, I agree. I think both egos can play a part, right? In how successful women, especially successful women who, are over 40 or in their late 30s. I do agree that both egos can play a part, right? For the men, men do want to be needed. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we all want to be needed, because it's like, well, if I can't really give you anything, then I kind of feel useless here. I kind of feel like, well, what's my role, So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, right? But I do think that when we start to feel like we have to be like put up on a certain kind of a pedestal when it comes to somebody because we're doing X, Y, and Z for them, I think that's where it becomes an issue. Or like, if you're feeling like, well, I already got this going on for myself, so like, you can't do nothing. Like if you're a successful woman and you're like, well, I already got X, Y, and Z going on for myself, so just know that, you coming off like they can't do nothing for you. So it's kind of like, well, how do you want them to feel? Like they're going to just feel like, well, then I don't need to be here if I can't do nothing for you,
Yeah.
So, yeah. She also was talking about, she has children, she has wealth, and she's been married. So, like, what do you feel like, what do you think a man really could offer her?
Maybe if, that man is in the same position that she's in or similar where, he was, he's been divorced, he's got kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
doesn't want anymore.
They'll probably have to be in the same type of situation. Like, if like she's dating somebody that doesn't have any kids or never been married before, I don't know if she's willing to have more kids. I mean, she's about to be 40, so that just seems like uncompatible. I mean, but yeah, I think we pretty much covered that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think that it's hard. Well, like you were saying, I do think that, she's going to have to find a specific kind of guy, like you said, someone who probably already has kids or doesn't want children, someone who has already been married, and someone who also has success for themselves and are secure within themselves and understanding that, hey, I'm with a woman that, that technically doesn't financially need me. So I have to be secure within myself to understand that, hey, like, I'm successful too in my own right? So if they both come to the table with those similar attributes, I definitely think, like you said, that could definitely work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dig back in.
And from there, you're trying to figure out, like, that causes conversation. I have a lot of girlfriends who are, at that point, they're like, what am I doing wrong? When it's like, you're not doing anything but being yourself.
That's what I asked my therapist.
But I hate,
that was my question.
A lot of us get there because at that point, you do feel like, man, I'm going to never find somebody, what am I doing wrong? And I don't think that people should, I don't feel like that. I don't think that people should feel that way. I think you need to track what you want. Somebody that's strong enough to handle all that will come and we'll figure it out.
Well, baby, God better get to building because I've found some very strong ones, but I still intimidate them.
It happens.
How do you intimidate them? What's wrong? If you find some strong men that seem like they're powerful, they have the intellect, what's the problem?
Well, for one, I'm not finding anything. I will be found. I am not.
You just said you found them.
I saw. I
come across. That's what approaches her.
But there's still insecurities there. There's still that, when I'm not there, what's going on? I don't know, maybe you did your eye twinkle like that for that person. Like, it's a thing. So it's non-existent. I go to church on Sundays when I'm in town. Besides from that, I'm out of the country or traveling or with my kids when I have them, or working. That's my life.
Yeah, so from what she was saying, yeah, it sounds like a lot, men become intimidated by her. They were also mentioning that, hey, finding a strong man, strong, confident man, like in that they could just attract that, like, she could just attract a strong, confident man. But Eva was saying, like, hey, I've come across some strong men, but, they still have insecurities, right? So, do you think that successful women, like, if they attract a strong, confident man, do you think that that's the cure? Do you think that will solve the issue of, finding someone that's compatible for them?
Oh, finding a confident man who can handle her? Yes. It can happen. It's just, maybe the issue is how many of these men are available.
Yeah.
And how many of these men is she meeting? Is she coming across? Because as she said, she's not approaching nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's possible, but, there's a challenge of finding them.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's not a lot of fish in that sea.
Man.
It's more like a pond.
Yeah, it's slim pickings, right? It's slim pickings in that market. And like you said, are there other things going along with that, right? Because, if we're going to be honest, a lot of times when we women, we get success, we get notoriety, you know what I'm saying? We start feeling like, hey, we doing our thing, right? So, it comes back to that individualism thing where it's like, well, what can you do for me? And, if you're coming into a relationship like that, you're coming into your dating market like that with, kind of like with your nose up in a sense, like feeling like, well, like you're too good for the situation, or like, when you come off with that mentality, like, I don't need nobody, I don't need a man, it doesn't come off to men, and you can speak to this, babe, let me know. I don't think that necessarily comes off as attractive to men when they feel like you're coming to the table like, well, I don't need you.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that's attractive.
Especially when it's like in a attitude kind of way, like nose up kind of way,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so. I don't think that would turn men on, generally speaking.
Especially like he's a confident man, he's making money. This type of man is going to be used to being treated a certain kind of way, if we're going to be honest, right? He's going to be used to women wanting him. He's going to be used to women needing him, in a sense, right? Because, hey, maybe these women, maybe they're younger, maybe they're in their early 20s. They're looking at him like, man, he got, his wealth together, he's probably teaching, because when you're in your early 20s, and if you're dating a successful man, and let's just say he's a bit older, like he could teach you certain things. So like, when you're a woman in the dating market and compared to the men in the dating market, like, a lot of the times, I'm not saying all the times, because obviously if you're a woman, you can date younger as well. But a lot of times when it comes to the men, their pool is wide, right? They're looking at the 20-year-olds, you know?
Yep.
So, you got to think like, okay, so, technically,
the
that's
40-year-olds might be, they might be elbowed out a little bit.
Technically,
overlooked.
Right? Technically, the 20-year-olds are your competition in a sense,
yeah.
right? So it's like, if he knows, like, I can go get this, 20...
Who's more humble.
Yeah,
and
like,
appreciation what I do.
like...
Yeah, actually feels like, I'm needed. I feel like I'm needed.
And like, man, she just so like, like, oh my gosh, I never did this before. Like, the thing is like, okay,
She She been there. She done that.
Yeah, she been there. Like she knows the private planes. Like she knows the nice resorts and like this. That's like an everyday occurrence for her. But like you know, you get a 20-year-old who's like hasn't come into her success yet, and she's never even like done that type of stuff before. You know, she gonna be like amazed.
For sure, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She never seen that movie. But Eva, apparently she has. Well, at least that's what it seems like.
I mean,
she's seen that movie.
I mean, we know she has success,
yeah,
you know? So it's like, like she could buy herself that trip, you know what I'm saying? So it is like a challenge, honestly, because it's like, he's thinking like, well, hey, this girl over here, like everything I do for her is amazing. Whereas like with Eva, like she probably really appreciated it, but it might not be the same type of appreciation.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we can go ahead on and dig back into it.
My life.
I wonder if Instagram makes men more show offs than anything. Because when you grow up broke, all you got is yourself, right? So you got to be smart, you got to be funny, you got to present all of these other things. I wonder if now character.
Ah.
I wonder if now because of Instagram, people feel like all I got to do is just show, and that's how I get. But then that's why y'all are not Lauren, but that's why you're in the position you're in.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Why you did that?
No, sorry, man.
I know. Yeah, no, he made some good points where, with the age of social media, a lot of people, they're showing off, okay, I got this new car, showing off the money, and that a lot of the guys, like, that's what they're leading with, right? They're leading with showing off, flaunting what they have, right? But what I would say is that actually help them find a woman, right? Because they're showing off these things, right? They're showing like they have success. They're showing like they have money. Is that actually something that you feel like works?
Yeah, it may work. Yeah, but I don't advise it. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's not authentic to be just flaunting what you got or what you perceive or what you want people to believe that you have. No, I'm totally against that. Like when I met you, I didn't even have an Instagram.
No, I like that about you.
Yeah, and I wasn't writing fake checks.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm totally against that. But I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm sure it probably does work. It's just eventually the deception is gonna be debunked.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You're gonna find out, you don't make as much money as as I thought you make.
Because it's only so long that you can keep up with the facade, right?
But we are kind of like in an age where a lot of people are just showing what they have. Men are just showing what they have, and women are just showing what they have. And I don't think both those methods are not the best choices, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, right? It seems like a lot of times what we're doing now is showing off, right? Showing off. You're either going to be showing off, your new body, some people might be showing off their new body. And for men, they might be showing off, a roll of money, right? But neither of those things have anything to do with your character, right? They have nothing to do with like who you actually are. And if you're just doing this for show, if you're just doing this so you can get the girl or whatever the case may be, how long is that really going to last? Especially once she realizes like, okay, this was all a facade. This isn't real. This isn't really who you are, right? And also too, in my opinion, you do want to lead with your character. Lead with who you are, right? Because then you can really see if your connection is genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. Like, yeah, have some game. Have some confidence.
All right, let's dig back into the clip.
Well, Lauren's single for a whole host of other reasons, even.
You don't know my life.
Well, first of all, I'm sure you're single by choice.
Thank you.
That's first of all.
That's not what her mama said. Damn. Mama said something else.
My mom didn't say nothing about that.
What's your mama say?
My mom wants me to be happy wherever I'm going to be happy at, and she understands that
She's given up.
No, she hasn't. She understands that I'm at a point where I need what we talked about. Like I need somebody that can really like handle things and carry me the way that I need to.
I don't think she's ready to settle down.
Oh, do you mind me asking? Age?
32.
Oh, girl, you better play.
And that's what she's doing.
You better play.
And that's
Enjoy
what she's doing.
these 30s. I had my first kid around that time. I have 3 now. I turned 40 this year. Enjoy these 30s. 20s, you were just figuring out your feminine hygiene properly. 30s, you get into it.
That is true. That is
no, it's true.
That is very true.
You're getting your pH balance together. You figuring out like what worked for me.
Learn how to shave. When shave.
Yeah, do I shave? Do I wax? Do I laser?
Wow.
That's terrible advice.
Terrible advice. You know, Eva was saying, you know, hey, you know, I'm, you know, basically, you know, in your 30s, you know, you should still be playing around. You know, in your 20s, you're still figuring yourself out. In your 30s, you can still play the field. So, I mean, I guess what she's saying is what, settle down in your 40s?
Oh.
Yeah.
So that you can have issues finding the right one.
I mean, so that your
40s.
So that your pool can be even more slimmer.
Oh man.
I mean.
Yeah, it's not even a pond. It's like a little water puddle from the rain, from yesterday's rain. It's like a little puddle.
You know, a lot of advice that is on these internet streets is terrible, especially to me. Well, to both men and to women, right? It's just like. That's not what you want to do. Why would you want to play the field for all these 20 years and then at your 40s, okay, now I'm ready to settle down. Now you're going to be going into a bunch of issues because you're already set in your ways now. Now you got to be worried about if somebody wants you for you, or if they want you for your success, if they want you for what you have. Whereas if you would have just got married to somebody, you know, in your 20s, and hey, maybe you weren't already successful, they weren't successful, but you could build with that person. At least you know, hey, that person isn't just with me for my success, for my fame.
Yeah, and didn't she say earlier, well God got to get the building or something like that? She said that. Did she say that?
Yeah, well, yeah, Eva, she was saying.
What kind of?
I know, what kind of statement is that, right? We want God to work.
What God is she talking about?
Man, we want God to be our genie. We want him to work miracles for us. But I mean, listen, I don't know what happened with her last marriage, but I do know she was married before. And from what I heard, I never heard her say anything about physical abuse. I never heard her say anything about like him habitually stepping out on her. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But I never heard that. So she was, from what I could see, the Most High did send her a man, and just so happened he was successful. You know, a lawyer. He adopted her first child, right? So, you know, I just think that sometimes we want God to be this miracle worker, this genie, right? Send us who we want, but I mean, did we take the time out to really appreciate what we had in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck she was talking about. That was crazy.
Yeah, 100%. You know, do you feel like women are unclear about what they want in a partner? Could this be what's leading to a lot of confusion and the challenges that they're having in the dating market?
Well, yeah, there's some truth to that. Yeah, I mean, it's an old saying. Well, I think, you know, a lot of men would agree that, you know, there's a lot of women out there that they don't know what they want. You know, I guess it's up to men to make up their mind, you know? So, yeah, there's some truth to that.
So, yeah, no, I agree with you. I do think that sometimes we women don't really know what we want. We want a successful man, but then we want him to just look at us for who we are, right? We don't need a man, but we want a man for to treat us like queens. And like what she was saying she wanted a man to hold her down and handle things, right? So we want a man to hold us down, to handle things, you know, to be the man in the relationship, right? Take care of us and whatnot. But we're not giving them the opportunity to do that, because then on the second hand, we're coming off like we don't need a man, right? So I think that there is a lot of confusion that does happen, right? And then I think a lot of times too, we women are giving each other terrible advice. You know, like, I just want to be real with us, right? I want to be real with my ladies out there and let us know, like, hey, like a lot of this advice that's being given to us about how to find a man and what we need to be doing to get a man, it's terrible, fam. It's super, super off, right? Like, why would you want to wait until you're 40 years old? Mind you, okay, we all understand about a time clock or whatever the case may be. I'm kind of like here and there about that, to be honest with you. But at the same time, why would you want to be out here with all types of randoms and then, okay, I'm ready to settle down with my husband now in my 40s? Like, why wouldn't you just want to build with that person from your early ages and up? And also, too, let's just be real, women, our best years, like, when it comes to finding men, the dating pool for us, those years are in our early 20s. Let's just be real. That's when we can go and we can get, we can pretty much take our pick, right? Because we're young. Men understand this, right? We're, attractive. We're before, those birthing years, right? And hey, when I was 22 years old, I already knew I was ready to find a husband. Like, I already knew, like, let me prepare myself for marriage, because I just knew that. I don't know if it was just innate within me, but I was already knowing, like, okay, I know I had my pick, right? I know when I was, even earlier than that, the way that men were with me. So I already knew, like, hey, I got options. But let me find the best option out here, because I know that I have leverage. And my leverage is my youth. Let's just be real. We could try to sugarcoat it and try to make it seem like it's something that it's not. But in reality, ladies, your age, it does matter to a lot of men. And if they know, hey, you're a young girl, you're impressionable, you may not be stuck in your ways, they feel like they could really offer you something and you're going to be happy and excited for what they have to offer to you. Listen, a lot of men like that. We can say it's ego or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, everyone wants to feel like they're needed. And, when you're in those young ages, like, a man really could feel that way. Like, oh man, I can be that one for her, to help her out, And I don't think there's anything really wrong with that, right? Obviously, if you and your partner are around the same age, then you guys are lifting each other up, right? You guys are helping each other out, helping each other build to what you're going to have eventually, right? But as we start getting older in our ages, and we start having our own successes, we start having our own accomplishments, right? And then if you do have children outside of that, just know that, the pool is going to start getting smaller.
Beautifully said, babe. We both would agree that it's still not too late.
Yeah.
So even if you are in your middle ages and you're watching this right now, we're not trying to discourage you,
no,
or disrespect you in any kind of way. But those factors are true. Like a woman's age, being younger, and being at the age, to have children, to settle down. You would want them before your 40s, before your 30s. In your 20s, you don't want to see that in your 20s. But yeah, it's not too late. So if you're listening right now and you're single, and you're in your 30s or you're in your 40s, yeah, just focus on self-improvement. First and foremost, your relationship with the Most High. Focus on your relationship with Yah. Focus on improvement. Focus on humility. I think that gets overlooked too. Humility. We think humility is just being weak, being a sucker, and it's not that. Humility is power under control. So just know, ladies, and men too as well. But this is more specific towards the women. But if you're listening and you're single, just be humble. Know your power, know your strength. Be confident in yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate and love who you are.
Yes.
And and just continue to build and be creative, and to continue to serve and be active, and put yourself out there too. You got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself in position in the environment to meet people. You know, sitting home and watching Netflix all day, that's not you're going to increase your chances of meeting, you know, the one for you.
That's
so just continue to go out there, you know, continue to be social, do what you got to do to, you know, put yourself in position to meet the one for you.
Yeah, maybe, you know, find a matchmaker, right? Or go on to a site where, you know, you pay to be matched up with someone. You know, because once we start getting in our later ages, likely we're not going to want to be out in the club. You know, likely there's certain things that we just don't want to do anymore. So those are good options, right? Getting a matchmaker or going on, you know, one of the dating sites, right, that you have to pay for, I would suggest, honestly. And you know, putting your options in there, right? So no, I agree. It's not over for you, obviously. No. And as we know, there's a lot of people pushing the message of, you know,
they say it's over, it's done.
It's over, it's done. But no, that's not what we're trying to say. No. Not at all. If you're out there, hey, there's still definitely somebody out there for you, right? But I think it is important for men and for women as we start getting older to understand that, you know, we do sometimes get kind of stuck in our ways. So be open to change. Yeah. Even as we age, still be open to change, especially with a partner. You know,
and that can be difficult too for people that you know that are getting older. It seems like the older you get, the less you want to change. You feel like you get to a certain age, you just know everything. At least that's the way I perceive it. You know?
Well, you know, because you've been living all this time, right? And things have been working out, right? Especially if you're successful. So you might not feel like people can tell you too much, right? But what I will say is be open, right? Be open to change. And you know, when you're out in the dating market, you know, especially for my women out there, you know, continue to, you know, shine that feminine energy.
Yeah, baby, those were some great points.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Because ultimately, we don't want to be alone. We want to be with somebody, you know, for the rest of our lives. And I mean, you know, being in your 40s and being single, you know, your window of meeting somebody, it is shrinking.
We hope that this helped, fam. We're not going to keep you here all day. We just want to give some balance to a lot of the information that, you know, the media is given, especially to our community. You know, we feel like a lot of that information isn't really helpful to our community. You know, the idea that, you know, you should play the field, you know, for all your early years, and then, you know, once you get to your middle ages, now, you know, okay, now you can settle down, right? I just think that we should change that narrative, right? I think it's great, you know. I love that I was able to build with my husband, you know, in my 20s, you know, and through my 30s now, right? So I just think it's I think it's a blessing, truly, to build with somebody in those early years. And, you know, being in the field for that long, I don't know, it just seems like you're just going to get the same thing that you've been getting. So why not, you know, find that one, find that person, and settle down, right, and build with that person. So, yeah, fam, I'm hoping that this helps. We definitely aren't here to offend anybody.
No, not at all.
Go out there, you know that someone is out there for you no matter what age you are, you know, and again, just, you know, for my women, you know, shine that feminine energy, be open to change, be open to different things, right? And you'll definitely find that one. And obviously, of course, seek the Most High in everything that you do. All right, fam. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead on and get out of here.
Yes, family. So before we do, please like, share, subscribe, and comment.
Yes. Until next time, this is Jazz.
And I'm Jaden.
Peace.